we get two different types of interest, especially when we're doing finance. What are those two different types of interest that I do? Who remembers? What kind of interest do we get? There's a interest and a interest. Who knows? Good, that's it. Beautiful, Naledi, that's it. Unachi, that's it. Elishe, beautiful. We get simple interest and compound interest. Okay, so today's interest is actually compound interest, but we've already learned simple interest already, so most of you guys should know what it is. But we're going to take a quick look at a simple interest question. Just move everything down just a teeny bit. Or actually, rather than move everything over, let me move on. Right, so here's our question over here. Right, it says here, calculate the simple interest on 4,500 Rand at 9% per annum. No, interest per year for 4 years. Now, this is actually simple interest. Just simple interest. Oh, it's not. There it is. All right, so the formula for simple interest is just that our accumulated amount, A, is equal to our principal amount multiplied by 1 plus our interest times the number of years. Now, this A over here accumulated means that the amount that we would get at the end, the very end of our calculation, that's how much we get. And the P that we have over here is the principal amount. This is always the amount that we stop, right? That's the amount that you start in your account. Right. Our interest can also be calculated as R, our interest rate, over 100. We can do that. Or because I don't like complicating my life and putting things over 100, your calculator, your new fancy calculators, have a cool little percentage button. So all you're going to have to do first is you're going to have to click you're going to click shift and then the percentage button, right? You're going to click shift, click percentage, and then that will do everything you do. And of course, you can give us the answer. I'm going to ask you to unmute give us the answer now, and then, or if you could raise your hand for me, and this N over here stands for, okay, the number of years that you how many. So if we know that we've got this amount at the very beginning, no problem, it says welcome. And Achita, do you want to unmute and help us with the rest of the question? How are we actually going to do? We know that we've got A, P, we've got I, we've got E. Let's fill in these before we start. Achita, are you there? Achita. Oh, no, okay. I'm not hearing Anochita at the moment, but we'll see if we can get him on. Teacher Nels, I just need to double check.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Oh, there he is. Oh, excellent. Hi, Anochita. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Let's start by filling in our API and fill in API. Right. So,
yes.
Which values can we fill in over here from the information?
Okay, so we don't have our A, do we?
Good.
We don't.
So
we have our principal amount, which is 4,500.
500.
Then our I is 9%.
9%.
Then N is 4 years.
All right. Now you have to put this into a formula. All right. So very good.
All right. So I guess we're going to say A is equals to 4,500.
Good.
Open bracket 1 plus 0.9.
Good. 0.9, or if you put 9% on your calculator, or even if you write 9 over 100, all of these things mean the same, right?
Yeah.
Times.
Yes. Multiplied by 4 years.
Good. And how much do we get here?
All right, 0.9 times 4 is equals to 3.6. It's going to be 4.6. 4,500 multiplied by 4.6.
Okay, multiplied by 4.6. All right. So just to make sure we don't make any mistakes. Can I ask you to put this whole thing into your calculator quickly and give me a final answer? Use the brackets on your calculator altogether. And it shouldn't be 0.9. Everyone is correct. It's not 0.9. 0.9 would be 90%. Okay, so this should be
0.9.
0.09.
0.09.
0.09. Okay, that's why I'm just going to click the percentage button on my calculator. Because see, I'm going to miss this one. Okay, so if we punch this into our calculator altogether, how much do we get?
We shall get 4,500 multiplied by 1 plus 0.09 times 4. 6,120.
Good. All right. Let me just. It's 6,150. Beautifully done. 6,150. So not complicated at all, hey? Pretty simple, because I mean, it is simple interest. So it should be interesting. All right. Okay. Thanks so much, Anatida. That was excellently done. We already knew that we was going to get the correct answer in any case. Thank you.
You're
Hi,
welcome.
Shaden. How's it going? Hello, Shaden.
Hi, ma'am. Sorry about that.
How are you doing? No worries.
I'm
What's up?
okay. Ma'am, I just wanted to know why are we saying 0.09 instead of just saying 1 plus 9 times 4?
Okay, because it's percentage as a whole, like not a part of a whole number. Right? So if I ask you for 9% of a pie, you wouldn't give me like 9 pies. You would give me like a tiny little sliver. So we want to know what that, if this is 9%, what is it as a decimal? It's 0.2.
Okay. Ma'am, you lagging a bit, so I'm gonna just log out and then I'll log back in.
Okay, excellent. I don't know if it's me. I am in a hotel room. Chicken else, can you hear me okay? Is everything okay for my...
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's like you're speaking from afar. So maybe try to look at your settings, like all your settings.
All right, can you hear me properly now?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Sorry. Yeah. Shifara's like, ma'am just flexed. I'm gonna tell you guys, I don't actually like hotel rooms all that much because I don't like sharing my bed with like 6 million strangers because many other people have slept in this bed, in the beds in the hotel room before. I don't like that. Okay, but no, not a flex at all. All right, let's talk about compound interest today. So simple interest is when we earn the same amount over and over every single year. You know you're going to get 200 Rand, or you know you're going to get 50 Rand. Every month, I mean, every year, it's going to be the same amount. 50 Rand, 2022, 50 Rand, 2023, 50 Rand, 2024, 50 Rand. Now, what happens when you earn interest on interest? Because that's actually what compound interest is. Compound interest is earning interest on interest. Earning interest on top of the interest you already have. Now, let's see how this actually works. Mawande, do we have a question? I see your hand is up. What's up?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I have a question. So would there ever be a question where we're missing two informations? Like, for example, we're missing, like interest and year.
No, okay. In that case, it would be the accumulated and the principal. It wouldn't be like interest and the year, no. Unless they say something like the money, or how long would it take for the money to double? In that case, we don't know how much the money is, right? They're like, a certain amount of money was put into an account, how much, and they give you a 7% interest. How much, or how long would it take for that money to be 6 times that amount? So now in this case, they haven't given us our principal, they haven't given us our accumulated, and they haven't given us our N, our number of years. But when it comes to a question like that, which we do have, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Don't stress. We're going to go through questions like those. Don't even stress. All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Swela, we cannot do trial and error when it comes to decimals. And trust me, finance is all about the decimals because look, if the bank owes me 20 cents, I want my 20 cents. Because when you owe them 20 cents, they will hound you down So when I want my 20 cents from the bank, they must give me my 20 cents. Yeah. So we must, those decimals must be there. All right, let's look over here. Now, this example looks exactly like the examples you guys did with Teacher Jen on Monday. 100% the same, right? Except instead of a straight line or compound interest base, linear interest basis, we're going to look for a compound interest basis. Now, let's see what this actually means. Now, if I had to ask you guys to calculate for your interest for 1 year, you guys would say to me, 5,000 of, or 5% of 1,000 Rand. How much is 5% of 1,000 Rand, guys? 50. Good. I know I'm just going to go to my calculator and I'm going to go, I know of, we've learned that of is times. So I'm going to go to my calculator, type in 5% of 1,000, and I'm going to get 50 Rand. Right, that's 50 Rand. That part, check. We've done that. Let's do the second part. Now it says, add that amount to your 1,000. So now I've got 1,000 Rand plus that 50 Rand that I just made, and that's going to give me 1,050. But now, the question now changes. The question now changes. Now it says, take your new amount after 1 year, right, after year 1, and calculate 5% of that. Now what you guys need to do is go find me 5% of 1050. How much is 5% of 1050? Punch it into your calculator, guys. 5% times 1050. That's it, Mawande, correct. Right. Now you've got 52 Rand and 50 cents. So this actually gives me 52 Rand and 50 cents. Now, I've made a little bit more than I did in year 1, because in year 1, I only made 50 Rand. In year 1, I made 50 Rand. But in year 2, what I'm earning interest on is first the 1,000 Rand that I put in, plus, that's interest there, plus the interest on that extra 50 Rand that I put in, interest on both of these things. So the 50 Rand that I've earned from the 52 Rand, that 50 Rand is from the 1,000, and that 2.50 Rand is the interest from my 50 Rand. So I'm earning interest on the interest that I've already made as well. Shaden, what's up? Sure, Shaden, you're quite, you're laggy, and I don't think you can hear me, my sweetie. Hi.
Hi, ma'am, I can hear you. Am I lagging?
Okay, yes, I can hear you perfectly now. What's up?
Okay, well, I just wanted to say that you're losing me very slowly. When you are done explaining everything that you need to explain, do you mind re-explaining from the third bullet? Because that's where I got lost.
Okay, all right. Are we okay with that if I look for 50 or 5% of 1,000, I'm going to get 50 Rand? Agreed?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Good. So after year 1, I have 1,050 Rand in my account. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now I'm saying, take this new amount, take this 1,050 and find me 5% of that new amount. So find me 5%.
5% of the one. Okay, okay.
How much do we get?
52.5.
Correct, 52.5. And that's why ma'am's written 52 Rand 50 over here. You see that?
Okay.
Okay, so that means on simple interest, when normally every year I would earn 50 Rand, 50 Rand, 50 Rand, 50 Rand. Every year I'd earn the same amount. With compound interest, first year I'm going to earn 50 Rand. Now in my account, there's more money. So the bank is going to calculate 5% of that new amount in my account. And then after the second year, they're going to calculate 5% of the new amount in my account. So they keep putting interest on top of the interest that I already have. Is that making sense?
100%. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're very welcome, my sweetie. All right, excellent question. So when we calculate compound interest, we calculate one number over the other, which means now for year 3, what I would have to do is I would have to go 1050 plus the 52 Rand and 50 cents, which would give me 1,100 and 2 cents, and 2 Rand and 50 cents. Then I need to find 5% of this new amount. So we keep adding the percentage part. Oratile says, my question, how do we calculate the percent part? You can either look for the percentage button on your calculator, or you can type it in as 5 over 100. Oratile, you can punch it in as 5 over 100. Okay, because percent is calculated out of 100. All right, now let me ask an easy question. Anybody can put their hand up here and answer this question for me. If I said to you guys that I have 2 to the power of 4, what is my answer? Everybody can put that in the chat and explain to me how we got there. What is 2 to the power of 4? Correct. Faith, what is my answer? Hi, Faith.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, my sweetie. What's my answer? What's 2 to the power of 4?
Ma'am, 2 to the power of 4 is 16.
Beautiful. How did you get to that answer? And don't say I punched it into a calculator. If you had to do that in your head, how would you do it?
Basically, we are multiplying 2 4 times, or we multiply 4 twice.
Okay, good. Okay, well, in this case, it has to be 2 because 2 is our
Yes,
base.
2.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
But okay, so you're right. You're like 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now, Faith, do you agree with me? I can't do this entire calculation all at once. I have to do it in bits and pieces. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. I do agree. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I'm going to have to do 2 times 2 first, which gives me
4.
good. And then times 2, right? Which gives me,
Yes, ma'am. 8.
and then times 2, correct?
Yes,
Which
ma'am.
then 16. Now, what you've actually just done, Faith, is you've explained how compound interest works. We are putting one number, and we're taking that number and taking the same number that we got before and putting it on top of that number and putting it on top of that number. But instead of 2, this is just going to be interest times interest,
Okay.
times interest times interest for however many years we need to do it. So that's why, do you note, that's why we actually have to the power of n. Does that make sense? Because the interest is on top of interest, it's on top of interest, on top of interest. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for explaining that. I just want everybody to make sure everybody's on the same page. Thank you. That's exactly That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Now, I want everybody to just give me a thumbs up if you understand why we put it to the power of n. It's because every year, the amount that we have gets interest on top of each other because we have to calculate one after the other, and they're compounding. The numbers are compounding on each other. That's why we have to the power of n. All right, and that's where we get the idea that however many years is however many numbers of interest we're going to add. You guys see how I is to the power of n. It's because we are adding interest times interest times interest times interest. Interest on top of interest on top of interest on top of interest. Okay, all right, let's do a quick example, right? Because all the things that used to stand for whatever they used to stand for in your simple compound formula, your simple interest formula, they also apply to your compound interest formula. Sure. Princess, you said 2 seconds. I'm counting 1, 2. Okay, that's enough. All right. If you didn't get it, Princess, you're going to have to come back at the end of the class. Okay. So Remy says, please repeat, ma'am. Sure. Now, Remy, if I said to you, I've got 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. We know in mathematics, we can just express this as 2 to the power of 5, right? We can just take all of them and put them on like to the power of something. Now, let's say, for instance, I'm going to earn interest for the next 5 years. For the next 5 years. I know that's going to be interest times interest times interest times interest times interest. And this is just the same as me going interest to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Because I've earned interest on however much I have in my account for the past 5 years, but it wasn't just interest. It was interest on top of interest. So in this case, if I don't know how many years, if I don't know how many years there's going to be, I'm just going to write here N. And then when the question tells me how many N's there are or how many years there are, I can just then take N and replace it with the number of years. Okay, Remy, does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Okay. Beautiful, good. All right, so Zain, I'm going to answer your question in just a second. Okay, because that R that you're talking about, I'm going to explain. It's actually the interest rate. Okay, it's the interest rate. So we will talk about that just now. All right, so all of these things still stand for the same thing. A still stands for accumulated amount. Accumulated. This still stands for principal amount, which means the first amount. That's one. This is I, interest, and N is the number of years. Now this R is whatever they give you as a percentage. Okay, percentage. It's the percentage amount. So if the question says 6%, we're going to replace R with 6. And if the question says 8%, we're going to replace R with 8. Okay, Zain, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Yes, thank you, teacher Nels. Yes, for now, yes, it's always going to be number of years. When we get a little bit older, switches up a bit, but it's not that deep. Okay, we're going to look at it. All right, let's look at a bit of practice. Okay, I'm going to move this up. Right, let's do this first question together over here. So it says, Tato loans, look at me doing things in bits and pieces. All right, it's because it was too far down. All right, it says here, Tato loans 5,000 Rand from the bank. They offer her a 7% per annum compound interest rate. How much will Tato pay back after 3 years? Refilwe, would you like to help us with this question?
No, ma'am, I just wanted to ask about a different question we got at school, ma'am.
Okay, all right, but we did. Well, I can't do that question right now, but is there any chance you can hold on to that question for me until we get to the end?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, my sweetie, hold on to that question. Remind me when we get to the end. All right, Siamtanda, can you help me with this question?
Ma'am, I can, but also wanted to ask a question, a quick question.
Go ahead with your question. Let's start with the question.
So let's just say I invested money into an account. So
yeah,
basically what you're saying is compound interest is the way to go if I have more money.
Not particularly, not particularly. Okay, I will tell you why I say that. What I mean by that is, if it's a short-term investment, like let's say, for instance, it's only 2 years and your interest rate isn't very high, it's better for you to invest on simple interest because you're going to get more money for your money. But in the long run, like let's say, for instance, you want to invest for 20 years, compound interest for sure. And I'll show you how it works. Okay. I'm going to show you an example where simple interest is better than compound interest in the short term, but compound interest in the long term, always better than simple interest. Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome. Good. Now you can't go away. You can't run away. You have to help me with the question. Okay. Let's write out the information. What do we have?
We have P.
Good. How much is P?
5,000.
Good. It's 5,000 Rand. What else?
We have I.
I. Good. I is?
7%. Or
good. 7%. 0.07, or I'm going to write it as 7 over 100. You can either write 7%, 7 over 100, or 0.07. All right. And then what else do we have?
The number of years, which is 3.
Good. And what are we looking for?
We are looking for the final amount, which is A.
Good. The final amount, which is A. Good. All right. Give me a sum. What do I write? I say A equals.
A is equals to P
Okay, we already have that one over here. So I need you to just like insert the amounts in there for me. Can you do that?
Oh, yes, ma'am. 5,000.
Good.
Then open bracket 1 plus 0.07 close bracket to the power of 5. 3.
3. Good. I'm like, Haibo, where did 5 come from? Good. 3. What is my answer? You don't need to give me an answer, Samtanda. Sure. Leah and Mfundo are just like, killing it. Killing it.
It is 66,125,215.
Okay. 215. Good. And that is the correct answer. However, we're dealing with money. Yes, Siamtanda?
Yes, ma'am. So rands.
Correct. Rands and cents. So can I have 3 cents, like 3 decimals for my cents?
No, ma'am, you need 2. So
good, I need 2. So what is this going to change into?
It's going to change to 22,22.
Correct, 22. Beautiful. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you now, Siamtanda, your teachers are not going to warn you about those decimals, right? So you must round off properly. Because if you leave it as 3 decimals, they're going to mark it. Some teachers are harsh like that. They're going to mark it wrong. Because you should know that it's money and you should leave it with 2 decimal places. Are we in agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Everything else, spot on, my dude. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
All right. Excellent stuff. Excellent work. All right. Let's get our maths blood flowing. Let's go with this next question over here. It's a little bit more challenging, but I want to see if you guys can rise to the occasion. Look, now I didn't even change my formula here to the power of n. There we go. All right. Yes, Leah, you must round off to 2 decimal places. It's money. Money only has rands and cents. So we need to make sure. Now, this question here says, how much was invested? How much was invested, right, in an account after 15 years if the final amount is 10,125 Rand and a compound interest rate of 4.5% per annum was offered? Tabelo, do you think you know how to answer this question for me, or do you have a question?
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I know how to answer this question, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely. All right. First, you're going to have to give me my information. What do I actually have here?
For your A, you have the final amount, which is 10,125.
Good, excellent. Okay, what else do we have?
P is unknown.
Good, P is our unknown. Excellent. And then what do we have?
I is 4.5%. Or 0.
Don't just say 4.5. Yeah, you must say 0.5% or 0.445. Ooh, we now need to add another 0. We need to go 0.0.
0.045, yeah.
Okay, good. Or you can write it as 4.5 over
100.
Over 100. Good, excellent. You can use any of those. All right. Yeah. Now, what is our N?
Our N is 15 years, 15.
Good, 15. All right. Now we're going to have to substitute, Tabelo. Now, I need you to substitute for me. Here's our formula. What are we going to write in?
We're gonna take the 1 plus 0.045 in brackets, like to the 15 over the final amount.
Good, excellent. Because I want P as the subject of my formula, correct?
Yes.
So now if I want P left on its own, P is multiplied to this whole thing. Now imagine if I had 2x is equal to 4. Tabelo, how would I get rid of this 2 over here in front of my x?
You would have to divide. You would have to
divide, right? Good, I'd have to divide by 2 on both sides. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to divide this whole side by 1 plus I to the power of n. And I must also do that to the other side as well, correct?
Yes.
1 plus I to the power of n. Excellent. Right. So those two will cancel like it would in any other. So my formula now reads that my P is equal to, now can you substitute in the formulas for me? Or the answers?
For on the calculator, give me 5,231,79.
Okay, let's just have a look. So what we should have is 10,125 divided by, open brackets, 1 plus 0,045 to the power of 15. Now,
Yes.
if we punch that into a calculator, we should get about half that amount, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
2 and 5. Okay, how much did you get?
I done it with the fraction and it still gave me the same answer, ma'am.
It should give you the same answer with all of them, right?
Yes.
We should get 5,000.
231,79.
I'm not sure about 31. Are we sure about 5,231? I'm getting a completely different answer. But that's because teacher Coco did a very dumb thing and she wrote 215 instead of 125. Okay, let's see that again. Okay, yes, correct. 5,231, comma
79.
Beautifully done. Excellent stuff. This is our P. Very, very well done. I mean, you even beat me to it because I made a mistake on my calculator. Well done, Tavila. Excellently done. All right, well done. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, give me a thumbs up if this stuff makes sense. If it's easy, do we know where we're going? Pamela, do not put your hand down. I'm going to ask you to answer the next question for me. All right. Excellent. Good stuff. All right, here's our next challenge. Here's our next challenge. You guys have got an exercise to do. All right, all of the values over here need to be calculated on compound interest. I want you guys to answer A for me, answer A, and answer B for me, please. All right, go for it. When you are done, as always, guys, don't forget, put your favorite emoji in the chat. I'm going to put mine. There's mine. Snake Queen, I saw you a while back. Say hi. I know you're here. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Always to have you with us. We're just running out of time a little bit today because. Oh, sure. Eliche. Okay, fine. Fine. Eliche, fine. Yes. P is equal to rands 5,231. Thanks. 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 Eve, I'm so glad that you're finding this stuff quite easy. Okay, I need you to first answer the questions for me using the simple, I almost said the simple compound again. The compound interest formula, I'm going to write it down over here again. A is equal to P, open brackets, 1 plus our interest rate to the power of N. All right, so when you're done answering both of those questions, then you can pop your favorite emoji in the chat. All right. Sure, Alicia, that was very quick, hey? You and Nklangani, Paul. Oh, Faith has a question. And Lwandile, you guys are like super, super fast. Yes, Faith.
Ma'am, on the previous question, I got 5,232,50, I think. No, 56 cents for the initial amount.
Okay, what did you got? Okay, what did you put into your calculator?
Ma'am, okay, what I did is I calculated 1 plus 0,045 to the power 15 and got a decimal fraction. And then I took it to the other side and divided it by 1,125.
Okay, now here's the problem. You probably rounded off the decimals. Okay, When you do that, you round off the decimals. So rather don't do that until you get to the very end.
Okay, ma'am. So in the event that I do that, ma'am, do I round off to the next two decimal places, or I leave it like that?
See, if you do the bracket first, I don't actually want you to do the bracket on its own, because like what's happened now, your decimals have kind of rounded off the final answer for us, because what you've done is you've taken the bracket and you've used it in its like simplest, like, I don't want to say it's simplest form, it's shorter form instead of all the decimals. Because Faith, if you think about it, your calculator hasn't actually shown you all the decimals that belong to that 1 comma like 0 comma 0 1 plus 0 comma 045. Your calculators also make them shorter, right? So you're missing out on those extra decimals that make the answer a little bit better and rounded off better. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
So
okay,
rather don't do them separately. Do it all as one calculation. Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent question. Slay Queen, I'm going to ask you to focus. Remember, we're in the maths class. Maths. Focus. All right, I'm going to wait for about 5 more people to put their emojis in the chat, and then we're going to get started on this question. Okay, I don't want us to run out of time. What I do is like, I wrote 45 instead of 4,5. Be very careful. Okay, beautiful. That's more than enough emojis for me. Let's get started on the first one. Pamela, do you want to walk us through this first one over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Beautiful. All right, let's go. So I know I need A, I need P, and I, and I need N. Give me my numbers.
Ma'am, we have A, which is 30. Yeah, ma'am, I don't know what number is that, but it's 13, 20, 23,53.
Okay, that's 132,000. Yeah. 132,022. That's good.
Then we have 41,746,40.
Good.
Then we don't have our I.
Good. That's our answer. Good. And then?
Then we have 9 years.
Good. 9. Good. All right. Let's see what we're going to do with this information. How do we? Information. All right. Let's do the simple things. Let's start by just substituting. Right. Let's substitute. What did I write first, Pamela?
132,023,53.
Good.
Equals to 41,746,40.
Good, comma 40. Then brackets.
Brackets plus 1 plus I, close brackets, to the exponent of 9.
Good, to the exponent. Beautiful. All right, let's start shifting. You agree the thing that I want is actually the I, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this thing is attached to the house. I can't get rid of this thing, but I know I can get rid of this number. How do I get rid of that number?
Let me divide. Yeah.
Here we go. I'm going to divide by 41746,40. 41746,40. Those two will cancel. All right. So now we have 132,023,3 over 41746,40 is equal to 1 plus I all to the power of 9. Now I want to get rid of this to the power of 9. How would I get rid of to the power of 9?
Ma'am, the way I did it, I said when we divided the numbers, I said 3,16 equals to 1 plus I to the exponent of 9. Then I said square roots.
Okay. All right, but we can't. Okay, so we need to take the 9 root. explain. Pamela, if I gave you x squared, right? If I gave you x squared and I wanted to do the squared, what would I do? I would take.
Then we'll break it apart.
Okay, well, we would break it apart, or I could just do this. I could go the square root. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now, what if I said x cubed? I want x on its own. What would I have to do?
Ma'am, you'll also square roots. Not square roots, but like, hey, I forgot. Ma'am, I don't know.
Root, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Called a cube root, yes. So this stands the question, it begs the question. If x to the power of 4, then what kind of root do I need to take?
Fourth root.
Yes, the fourth root, correct, the fourth root. And if I have x to the power of 10, what would I do?
The fifth root.
Correct, we would take the fifth root. So look at what we have over here. We have 1 plus I to the 9th power. How do I get rid of the 9th power?
Ma'am, we 9th roots.
Beautiful, good. We're going to take the 9th. And there's a sign for that on your calculator. We're going to take the 9th. And that's going to cancel that. This and that will cancel. So now I have the 9th root of 132,53 over 417,40 is equal to, I'm going to place over here. This is equal to 1 plus I. Now I'm almost there. What's missing?
We're missing the, ma'am, we need to subtract.
Correct. What do we need to subtract? How much?
The positive 1.
Correct. I'm just going to take my positive 1 over. It's going to become
negative 1, minus 1.
Minus 1. And then, Pamela, what we're going to do, we're not going to do it all separately. We're going to do it all as one calculation. So you're going to pick up your calculator and you're going to put in, there is a button. It's a shift button with a root on it. Okay, you need to click that button for root. It's right on top of the x to the power of a square. Click on that button and it should open up a root that has a square there. Put a 9 there. All right. So this is what it will look like on your calculator. There'll be an X with a little square like that. That's the button. And right above the button in yellow, there's this button that looks like this. Okay, so you're going to click Shift and you're going to click this button and this thing is going to come up. Okay, and you're correct, Shaden. Finding I is the hardest. So we're going to click 9 in there, and then we're going to go underneath that square root sign. Underneath the square root sign over here, we're going to click this fraction button. We're going to click the fraction button. And then we're going to put in those 132023 amounts. Okay. So we're going to go 132023 comma 53 over 41746,40. And then remember, you need to go out of the calculator all the way to outside and then click -1. Okay, you need to click the arrow, the left, the right arrow. I'm saying out of the calculator, the left. You need to click the left arrow so that your -1 is not underneath your square root sign or your 9th root sign. Then you're going to click -1 and you're going to tell me what answer your calculator gives you. Sinoguhle and Lihle.
0,1.
It gives us
0,14.
Beautiful. I is equal to 0,14. But we haven't yet converted our decimal over here into an interest rate. It's not an interest rate. It's a decimal out of 1. So we know that decimals or interest rates are calculated out of 100. So what do we need to do with this number here? What would we need to do in order to turn it into into a fraction?
Multiply by 100.
Good. In order to turn it times by 100. So our interest rate is equal to how much? How much?
14%, ma'am.
Beautifully done. And that's a lollipop for my class because I bribe my kids with lollipops. Like Pamela. Mwah, 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 mwah. Beautifully done. Well done, well done, well done. Excellent stuff. Very nice. Okay, so for those of you who are like, ma'am, why in algebra do they keep making us move things, transpose, divide, multiply on both sides? This is why. Because when it comes to questions like this, you're going to need all of those things of moving things over from one side to the other of the equal sign. It's very important that we can do that. All right, we're going to do the last question B for today, and then you guys are going to go off and do your quiz. All right. Let's look at this next one over here. I'm sorry, Princess. Bunke, I already see your hand up. Do you have a question or do you want to answer this question for me?
Hi, ma'am. I have a question actually. Ma'am, I don't know if I miscalculated or what, because the first one, I got 0.89 instead of 0.14. So I don't know, where did I go wrong? Because I calculated it the way my teacher told us to do it, like in a calculator.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure what that would be. Let me see. How much did you get?
I got 0.89 and 578, and the numbers just continues. Because when I put it in a calculator, I said shift, and then there's this other line, it's X.
Yes,
X
it's sitting
to
next
the
to a
power of
number.
nothing.
It's sitting next to a blue writing that says HEX, correct?
HEX.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now, like I said, it's very important, Buntle, that after you've put everything underneath your square root, before you minus one, so what you're going to do is you're going to put this part in your calculator, right? After you've clicked that button, right? Put all of it in. And then what you need to do is first click the button that goes to the right, and then put in -1. Because if you don't, then what your answer is going to do is it's going to use that -1 underneath the square root as well. And the -1 does not belong underneath the square root. Okay.
Ma'am, you said what must I put in brackets?
Okay, don't put it in brackets. Once you've put this part underneath the square, underneath the 9th root, click the button that goes to the right, and then put in -1.
Ma'am, that's exactly what I did, actually.
And you use this exact same method we've just used here?
Yes, ma'am.
You've put the numbers in exactly the way we've put the numbers in?
Yes, ma'am. Oh no, sorry, ma'am. Do you know what I did? I said it's 417,40 instead of 417,46,40. It's my mistake. Sorry.
Okay, all right. That's okay. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, my sweetie. But yeah, those small little numbers, they'll get you. I also made that same mistake in the other question. Shaden, what's up?
Ma'am, I just want to ask for a question like, how many marks would you get for the entire question?
4. Because most of it is just you manipulating the formula. Okay. It's not even that deep.
Okay, I think I like got 1 out of 4 for that question. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
It's okay. It happens sometimes, and it's going to take practice, and we're going to do a bit more practice next Monday's lesson. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do a bit more practice. I need to do more practice.
Yes. Yes. All right. Okay. I'm going to stop the lesson there because we have actually run out of time, and I'm going to ask Teacher Nels to just pop the link to the quiz in the chat quickly. The reason why I'm stopping the lesson here today is because somebody asked me a question about timelines, and I want to quickly go through what we need to do. I'm going to show you the steps. I'm not going to show you the whole answer. Entle, are you there? While I speak to Slay Queen, you can unmute for me and we can have a quick chat. And the fact that Teacher Nels doesn't have the quiz link is very disappointing right now. Let's see what's going on. Nothing in the chat. Sure. Yeah, very true. I'm not seeing it here either. All right. Slay Queen, what's up?
Hey girl,
Hey.
how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good, girl. Anywho, yeah. What was I? Oh, sorry, ma'am. So I was going to ask about solving for n and compound interest. Like, are we going to be covering that anytime
No.
soon?
No, it's so rare that you would ever do such a thing. It's a matric, like it comes up in your matric final paper. They will never ask you to solve for n. Okay.
Are you serious, man?
Right, because solving for n in compound interest would involve something called a log, and you guys don't know anything about logs. Logs only come up in matric.
Let me just let me just flip through the receipts real quick, because Morgs is playing with me. There's no way. Nance, oh my gosh. Ma'am, she literally made us do it. There's no ways. Like,
okay,
tomorrow,
I'm gonna ask you to
on Monday.
Yes, I'm just gonna ask you to read
no.
out quickly for me. What does the question say? Let me hear it.
So it says, okay, so compound interest. So it says 3,000, 300,000 is equal to 100,000. Open bracket 1 plus 0.12.
0.12.
Yeah, sorry, 0.112.
Okay, 0.112, so 11.2%. Okay, 112.
Close bracket. And n
to the power of n.
Yes, ma'am.
This is not a grade 10 question. Absolutely not. All right. Unless, because it is quite an easy calculation, if I think about it, no, absolutely not. Teacher Nels, look at this question. I should then get 3 is equal to 1 plus 0.112 to the power of n, right? The only way I'm probably going to solve it
you are
is
literally on the right track, mom.
Yeah, n is equal to log of my base, which is 3 to the power of
3, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, 1.112. That's the only way I'm going to solve with logs. There's no other way. Teacher Nels, anything else?
And then, wait, ma'am.
No, I think you have to use logs.